the
I think
comedies.
we talked multiple times about high stakes, low stakes in the last movie. This movie, what these characters are going through, to anybody else outside this family would probably be considered low stakes, but it's high stakes to them. And I think the strength of this movie is how well and how compelling it makes that story.
Oh yeah.
I like this movie a lot.
Me too. I love this film. It was
I liked it very much. This is one I hadn't seen, and
Yeah.
I'm really glad you picked it.
really,
Yeah, I was happy to see it again. I remembered liking it, and I still like it.
Well, yeah, the stakes are they feel low because this is all about one guy making a fib, and if he did it, he wouldn't get caught, and we just come over and move on with their life. But the snowballing effect when people start showing up, the kid shows up.
Coincidentally, I would put money on this was probably festival good as well.
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
I don't know how well it did.
It did pretty good box office wise.
Oh, good.
did it?
Yeah, it did.
I mean, and again, Giamatti. I mean, fuck. Like I don't think we really talked about the thing that he did, the Alexander Payne thing that he had
Sideways.
Here. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's just
Amazing.
so good at this guy.
Yeah. He's playing the guy. Yeah.
He's Paul Giamatti.
Giamatti is always
plays.
he's always a little bit put upon, slightly frustrated.
Awkward fish out of water, never.
But he's
quite
also
fits in.
but what I love, just like his character in Sideways, and not to conflate the two necessarily,
We're gonna do that. Don't worry about it. It's gonna happen a lot.
But in this picture, I mean, I think Sideways is on another level. But I liked this movie a lot, and I love that they didn't make him a saint in this movie. He definitely is. I mean, one of the first inciting incidences is when he decides to sort of, collect that money and say, I'm gonna. Put the guy in a home anyway, which is probably the right thing, obviously, in that guy's, and how great to see him as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a villain. He just
he's not a,
just like,
no. They explain very well why he
villain.
had to do
he's
that.
He's just a very. Everybody fucks up. Everybody has a little bit of.
And that's kind of a line in the movie too, Jared.
Yeah.
It is.
The water heater in the basement is actually a reminder of why
the boiler.
The boiler. It's like, oh, there's your.
Well, if you ever watch Mythbusters, Mythbusters, you know what the end of one of those things looks like if you don't take care of it.
Yes, you'll take your
that
house
goes
out.
straight through and takes the fucking supports out.
Yeah, right.
And I'll
it's
say
not we need to put plastic on it. It's you're not going to have an office anymore at home.
Yeah, right.
Like covering the records with plastic is not going to do it, right?
Yeah. I also want to talk about how good of an actress I think Amy Ryan is and always has been.
I love her in anything.
Oh my God, she was my favorite character in this movie.
In this movie.
Yeah.
Her sense of humor was.
I mean, she's not really called upon to do a ton in this movie, but she's just great.
No,
that's
her
what
sense
I think,
of humor is what makes
she,
the film happen.
I think she elevated it. I think
she did. She actually,
a lesser
she's so
actor
funny
in that role would not have done.
But
let's talk about
moments. There's two moments that she has. The first one is when she keeps talking about how she wants to punch the mother in the mouth.
I know, it's so good.
Drive to Ohio.
And then the mother comes over, and as soon as she starts crying,
that seems so good.
She comforts her
immediately next to her and is like trying to take care of her and all like that. All that goes right out the window as soon as it's just like okay. And then the other scene is when he comes back to the house after all of that stuff happens, and as they're walking up the stairs, she stops and she's like, "We love you."
Right.
Yeah. By the way, we love you. When he asks them to leave.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because it's almost like don't push him anymore, but she just has to get that out.
Right.
Another great moment she had is just a look she gives to Paul Giamatti when what's the kid's name? Ryan. Not Ryan.
What is
Kyle.
Kyle. When Kyle says, "Hey," she says, "I'm going to the store. I'm going to the grocery store." He goes, "Hey, can I go with you?" And she goes, "Sure." And then she and Paul Giamatti have eye contact. And she's just like,
she's like,
Okay.
It's a great real moment.
It was also, so real.
Watching integration of Kyle into that family is actually a delight because he edges up a little closer. It's like a stray dog. You're trying to tease him.
Yes.
Well, and he's starving for it. He's
starving
for that kind of attention.
Screen.
And he's such a teenager. He's just curt. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't make eye contact. Well, he's just incrementally you realize what a cool kid.
But here's the elephant in the room. obviously he was cast. He's probably a non-actor. He was cast because he can wrestle and he's physical.
I don't think so. He did anything else.
I would bet money on it. And I also think that two things can coexist. I think that he is not a good actor, but it's simultaneously also an honest, fine performance in a weird way. Like, I kept watching it going, I wish this kid knew how to act.
Yeah.
But then part of me was like, but I don't know if I've seen a more realistic depiction of an actual teenager.
Yeah, true.
How they actually talk and
also,
are. But there's two things. Like, well, let me break this down really quickly.
Oh, please, go.
Okay, there's real, there's movie real, and then there's fake real. Real is what this kid is. Meaning you can't watch it. It's like you don't know how to act and you're just being a real person. Movie reel is where you always want to be. That means you know how to act, you know your craft, you know your technique, but you're fucking believable. Everybody thinks you're real. Fake reel is like bad acting. That's like you're trying to act. You can see the acting with a capital A. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yeah.
So this kid is, real, and you don't want to put real in most movies unless you're like Robert Bresson or something.
Yeah. No, in film school we call this Eisenstein typage. They found a kid who could wrestle, and he plays a wrestler who's a teenager, and that's like yeah.
So he was, I think, 19 years old when he was cast in this to play a 16-year-old.
Right.
He had been a star wrestler in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
He won the state championship in New Jersey as a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to have a wrestling scholarship going forward, and he broke his C5 vertebrae in practice. And that was the end of his wrestling career. So he had started to act, and the director saw him and was like, basically what his point of view is I can't teach an actor how to wrestle like this kid, but I can teach this kid how to act like this character.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And again, like, I don't know if you guys felt that he was the weakest link in terms of performance, but again, it kind of works though.
Yeah.
Right.
Jared, it never occurred to me. It just meshed with the story
and stood out like a sore thumb to me. But at the same time, the thing is, like, believable.
You know what? A real teenager is going to basically, what you call it, underact. If he's like being sullen, he's like, be withdrawn and just mumble your lines out.
It wasn't too demanding.
It wasn't too demanding role,
Yeah. Again, in a weird way, it was pleasantly refreshing because
I actually think the scene where he attacks his mom, I think his acting was great in that.
Yeah. Actually, that was good. That was good.
Kind of alarming.
If I could call back to last weekend too, I feel like it's almost like a Dennis performance where it's a real person who can get emotional beats, right?
Also, Linsky is great as ever.
Yeah, she is
great. She's always good. I
had forgotten who all the co-stars were. I knew Giamatti was in it, and then as the opening credits were playing, and it was the actor name. I'm like, this is like opening Presents. This is
I know.
Great.
When she shows up, I'm like, part of me is like, oh no, it's the weird alcoholic mom. But part of me is like, yay, Melanie Linsky.
All right, those two. Jeffrey Tambor and Bobby
Cannavale. Jesus.
Bobby Cannavale I thought was fun too.
He's hilarious. I loved how
he's like
fucking stoked
dog.
he gets
he's like
about
crazy puppy dog. He's running all over the place in circles. It's fun.
He's like Kyle's #1 fan. He's like,
he's so cool. So fucking cool.
He's so fucking cool.
They have the scene where they watch his match on fake YouTube, and then as soon as he pins him, they jump up and they're high fiving each other. And it's shot from above.
All right. That's good.
I have an intense hatred of Jeffrey Tambor, and I have for a long time. And it's just like,
oh, dude, Arrested Development.
I'm indifferent to him.
I hate Arrested Development. Like, I don't think he's funny, and I don't think he's interesting. And like, this movie is to me, a redemption of that feeling of like, if you cut him out of that frame, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. Like,
well, it's not a huge part. So
I'm watching him and saying, why isn't this J.K. Simmons?
That'd
be so much fun.
Yes,
I know, right? You can say about any role he's ever had.
I'm a fan. I think Tambor is always solid, and he's hilarious in Arrested Development.
That might be the clip.
Thank you. I'll write that down. J.K. Simmons.
And yes, you can put J.K. Simmons anywhere, and I will watch it.
I know, same here. I'll follow him anywhere. Even that terrible drumming movie that was.
Speaking of Party Down, J.K. Simmons, hilarious at Party Down.
It was great, but it was I was traumatized when it was over.
You wouldn't need his other friend as the actual assistant coach if J.K. Simmons was there, because J.K. Simmons would have already whipped those kids into shape.
Oh, true. That's a good point.
Well, they make a point of saying Tambor's character never wrestled.
Wasn't a wrestler.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah.
I think this is a classic sort of small, really strong, good script.
Mm-hmm.
Like a good drama. Yeah.
What's that,
comedy
Chris?
drama.
John McCarthy's got a really solid track record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is one of his better films, I think.
And again, it's incredibly small stakes for anybody not directly involved. Yet it's
the stakes are such that our main character who fucks up and is taking that money, from Burt Young, to basically try to repair his failing legal business. It was a weird, but at the end, the fix for him is actually being a bartender.
Yeah,
it's like and that was a joke at the beginning of the film too.
No, it's absolutely a callback to what he said. He's like, "What am I going to do? Be a bartender?"
I know exactly.
Well,
and then that's the last scene.
I don't think that's a joke. I assume that's what he did to pay his way through law school.
Maybe he was actually a bartender.
Right. Like the point is, I'm not going back to that.
Right.
Like, and then he goes back to that as a way to maintain this familial connection.
Because honestly,
the part behind Chris where he slaps him and he's like, "No,
I love that."
Harder. He hits him harder.
So
good. And then the next kid comes out and he's like, "Can you hit me too?"
So great.
And then when the fuck up kid comes out and he's like, "I'm gonna slap you now," and he's like, "What? Not
so hard.
Too hard. That kid, his arms were like pipe cleaners. It was so funny.
That kid was hilarious.
I think. And then when Amy Ryan comes to see the match, and it's just like, why is Daddy hitting him?
I know he bops.
Why is Daddy hitting Kyle?
But
I have no idea.
No, he bops
again,
those good. See her, that look of concern. It's like, what's going on here?
Those good moments, John, like you said before, because she looks at him and he goes, "It's okay."
Yeah, I know.
He goes like he's like, "Trust me, this is where we've worked it out." Don't. He says so much in that little gesture, just like when she looks at him in the house. It's like
that's just that kind of shit. It's good writing, it's good directing, it's good acting.
That feels like people who have been married for a long time. Like, because you have that interaction with somebody where you can just look at them and be like,
and that's Scott. That's not the feeling that everybody's just 10 feet from their trailers doing their scene.
No. The commitment in this film is much different.
They're very believable.
It feels lived in. It's like his office is really his office. You can tell the relationship he has with his secretary.
And honestly, this
so hang on one second. You said it. The movie says it over and over again. On the sign outside of their office, it says that Shelley's a CPA. So she's his secretary and a CPA at the same time?
She's my sister and my daughter.
Well, maybe. Well, think about it.
It's Chinatown.
It's also a small town. She's a CPA and a secretary. He's also a lawyer and a wrestling coach,
and a bartender,
and later on a bartender. You have to really make ends meet. This is also such a nice look at. This was 2000. Was it 12?
11.
2011. It's such a nice look at what America was like back then.
I really think that the depiction of their marriage in this, I'm like, I want a relationship like that.
Yeah, me too. Right? Well, they meshed really well, and she was so great.
They call each other on their bullshit. I mean,
he can't.
But they also genuinely love and respect each other.
And I was wondering how they were going to ride it out when the big revelation comes and they find out what he's been doing. And then the scene where she sort of forgives him is just like she's at the sink washing dishes, I think, and he walks in, and it's not like I forgive you or I'm sorry. I think he does say sorry, but it's more like, okay, what are we going to do? And that was the
yes. And again, going back to Amy Ryan and her character and also her performance, but there's so many fights like that when he comes in and she just kind of goes, "Okay, hi," and he goes, "Hi," and they start talking. I just don't feel like a lot of people could do that, like and really be adult about
everything
what happens. what happens is she says, I care about this family, or the only thing I care about is this family, or something like that. And he looks at her and says, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't do this
And she
to
says,
get
I know.
rich.
Nope.
Yeah, like, he didn't do this to get rich. He didn't do this to buy a new car or whatever.
He did it because they're struggling.
Again, he's not a monster. He just did this thing.
Actually, there's a speech saying sometimes you don't do things for money. Sometimes you do things.
But I love this, and to draw a parallel,
Yeah.
like a lot of people gasp in Sideways when he visits his mom, and he fucking takes that knot of money out of her drawer.
Oh yeah.
You know, he steals from her. It's a parallel. You know.
Yeah.
But I love characters.
Paul Giamatti is the master of petty villainy. You know what I mean? Same here. Like $1,500 is not a lot of money. You know, or taking the money from mom is not a lot of money. It's like he's very good at petty villainy. He's very good at that.
Then he goes on to Billions and does.
Oh my God, it's a whole different thing.
I have not seen that, but
okay. Yeah. Either way, he meets his own at that one. Let's just put it that way.
All right.
Oh, anything else?
He needs a beard. Like.
He fights for beards. He fights for beards in every role, and sometimes they let him have them, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah,
and he's been interviewed about that.
Oh,
really?
He's
like, because he goes, I don't have a chin and I don't have a neck, and I want a fucking beard. And sometimes they let me have it, and sometimes they don't. And if you watch most of his movies, he'll have at least a goatee or a full beard.
He had one in that great film about where he played, I think, Robert Reich or something like that, in there, the financial crash. It was a TV movie. I'll put that up. It's such a good film because it's like the ultimate horror film in a lot of ways.
Which I feel is pain because I don't have a chin
well,
either. So.
What are you gonna do? All right. Anything else?
Same here, Jared. I feel like I look like a Q-tip when I'm in.
Yeah, John,
you'll never see me without at least this.
Right? Hey, here you go. What's that, Scott?
Concluding thoughts, John?
Concluding thoughts. No, I liked it in 2011. I like it now. I think the ending's a little abrupt. It's basically two scenes. The scene with Kyle and his mom, they sort of reconcile what they're going to do right outside the courtroom.
Outside the courtroom, yeah.
And then she's like, "Does the offer still stand?" And he says, "Yes."
Yeah. It is a little bit pat. It's like,
and then
you're already there. The house is there. You know.
Well, yeah. He's making a daiquiri.
He's making a drink, right? The cynic in me, like
the end.
When I was,
I wanted to check in with the grandpa. I wanted to check in with Kyle. I wanted to see what happened to the other threads of the story, and instead it was just like, boom.
Well, if I was like 28 and I saw that him at the bar, I would have like thrown something at the, But now I'm older and I'm like, fuck it. I like a nice little ending like this if you've earned it.
Yeah, and it was real.
I don't object to what's there. I just wanted a little more.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I can see that. Yeah, there's a lot of other characters that might need. Like, I even cared about Bobby Cannavale. He's reeling from a divorce like that.
No shit.
And I know it's a side story. I know.
No, but it's a thread.
But it's like that guy's in pain, and that's why he's trying to.
Yeah. And I wanted to beat else. I wanted to beat for Kyle. Kyle's living in the house with his grandpa now, right? Isn't he? They moved back into the house.
Right.
No, he's living with them.
No, he's living with them.
Kyle's a member of the family now.
And he's still in assisted living. The grandpa.
No.
He moved back home and sent his daughter's taking care of him.
No,
she's not. She left.
No,
she's getting the check. She's getting the $1,500.
I thought she was staying at the house.
No, she took the $1,500 a month
to get lost.
He's going to send the checks to her, so she disappears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Giamatti's taking care of him at the house.
Kyle is definitely,
which is what he said he was going to do in the first place.
Right.
Although he's not getting paid for it.
Because when Giamatti comes home, Kyle's in the yard with the daughter, and he says, "Help me get the whatever,"
Yeah. Well, that was the deal.
Go move the trash cans.
Yeah, go move that. So he's living with them permanently.
That was the deal with the mothers. Like, you get the $1,500, and we get to keep Kyle so he can finish school.
Yeah.
Here.
And
you have to be a bartender
and we get to move Leo into his house.
Right.
And he gets to die in his own house.
So in a way, it's like what the threads are. You just don't see it visually.
You don't see it, but you know that Kyle is now forever their child, which is wonderful. And I feel like it's the kind of movie where your heart does get invested. It's so well written and so well acted that you.
Yeah.
I love movies like this. These two picks are. I just love these little sort of mid-budget comedy dramas.
Yeah.
There's
I
just
just
all
like
No,
this
this
one.
is
I
your,
thought
this is your
better-
wheelhouse, John.
This was
it
I thought
is.
this was
Relationship based stories.
What was that one? This is better written. I thought the comedy was much better. It hit really hard, and the
Yeah,
comedy was
some
really
funny
good.
shit in this
And
movie.
it felt that rising consequences, a whole dialectic where things get built up worse and worse and
Yes.
worse till
Yeah.
it breaks.
Yeah.
You felt that in this film, which has made
Yeah.
it very kind of very compelling to watch.
Yeah,
So,
well,
okay,
that is one of those movies, Scott, where the whole thing's built on this lie that
Yeah,
he told.
I know,
And then when
right?
the kid shows up, and then the wrestling starts to happen, and then he joins the team. It's like, yeah, you're just building this thing on this
exactly.
shitty foundation.
And all the beats feel real. It feels like, and they didn't when the kid joins the wrestling team and he starts kicking ass right away, obviously because he has the history. They don't romanticize it.
No.
They don't glorify it. They don't exploit it. It seems just very realistic.
Yeah.
It's
As soon as he gets back in his own head, as soon as he gets back in his own head, he loses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, even the filmmaking, like the depiction, like
Right,
they didn't do some fancy camera shit or some music
well,
score
it's
shit.
not
Like
it's not a sports movie where they have to sell you on the
right.
Hoosiers.
it's not
right.
Hoosiers,
It's a drama. Well, Hoosiers, but I just mean that like when the coaches first see him wrestling and then he goes into his first match and he fucking creams the guy.
No,
They
he
just
flipped
they
him over
show
like
it
a
straight up.
boat.
They show it straight up, and what sells it is the performances, everyone's reaction.
Yeah, right.
But the camera work is very, very standard. Right, but I love that because it's like that's the movie.
It doesn't have to be extraordinary. It has to be
Thank
realistic.
Thank you for putting Melanie behind you because, like, again, something else really good about this movie is she's a flawed character that causes a lot of problems for that kid, but she's also played fairly sympathetically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's her. It's hard not to like her a little bit.
Fuck up, who at least by the end acknowledges that it's probably better for everybody involved if I take 10 steps back. But it's not a cliched performance either. She's not a monster.
No.
No.
Well, the thing about Melanie Lindsay is she's got that kind of baby doll
garden
voice.
variety fuck up.
Yeah, she has a baby doll voice, so she always kind of like think about her being a little bit damaged, like Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
In that respect. Yeah, so there's always that.
Well, but again, like casting Amy Ryan, a lesser actress than Melanie in this role could have been totally forgettable or way more unsympathetic
or shrill.
But she has a softness to her.
Yeah.
Like
she's a fuck up and she knows it. You know what I mean? And it's like she's trying.
Yeah,
she went to rehab and she's trying.
I'm a huge fan. I think she's a lovely actor.
Self-awareness there that I appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, she's smart. You can tell.
All right. That's it. Okay.
Oh yeah, thumbs up. I like this movie.
Solid thumbs up. It was a delight. It was watching this was so much fun.
And Tad Sideways.
No, Sideways is the other movie with it. Never mind.
Yeah.